You, Brad. They're asking me to tell you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Moulton Howe. I'm the reporter and editor of EarthFiles.com and the Earth Files YouTube channel. Beginning the 5th of October, I'm going to try to keep bringing you exclusive Earth Files news updates every week about breakthroughs in my investigations of science, the environment, and real X-Files. So subscribe to my Earth Files channel now. And I'm going to be doing science reports, some of which are going to be focused around some of the breakthroughs in astronomy, breakthroughs in medicine, and breakthroughs in these whole issues and questions about, are we living in a universe that is teeming with life, as remote viewers have reported from work for the CIA and the DIA? And their answer is yes. And then they have another mysterious answer, which is, it's teeming with life, and some are friendly, and some are not friendly. And this is the part that I think that all of us should understand. And I'm hoping that in my YouTube updates going forward, that I can help shed some light on the different types of non-humans reported by people in the abduction syndrome, and the ones that they think might be our friends, and the ones that they have mixed feelings about, and others that might be in a category of not being allies at all. And is this the reason that the government of the United States has policies of denial and lies about the fact that we're not alone in the universe, because they think they can't say anything to the world population or the United States until they can guarantee we know who our friends are, and we know who our enemies are, and we now have the technology to deal with both? That is another interesting question in technology. And another area I'm going to go into this coming fall into the 2018 is, as we are moving toward artificial intelligence and an increasing dependence on robots, there are many, many warnings coming from Elon Musk and others saying that the ability to hack robots, the ability to hack artificial intelligence and turn a machine in your house into a weapon is something that we all have to be aware of, not running away from, but just facing the facts of where are we headed in the rest of this century on a lot of fronts, where we can't climb into a shell and say, I don't want to go there because it sounds like it's going to be too difficult. That's what I'm hoping that at Earth Files, both at earthfiles.com and in my Earth Files YouTube channel, that we can all be together trying to learn as much as possible about the facts so that we can be at least conscious as we hear about the weaponization of artificial intelligence, that we will at least be educated enough to make decisions, hopefully, about whether we think it's going to be something we want or we don't. This is an amazing time in this century. It's just revolution in all dimensions, in all angles. And I can't think of a time in my professional life that I have ever felt that if I work 18 hours a day, I still will not be learning enough, fast enough. But I'm sure going to try, and I'm going to try to bring it to you on the Earth Files YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. And Lori, who helps me, she may have some questions from you now, and I'd be interested in what your feedback is. Well, I'll take the last question first about Gaia. I really enjoyed doing the 12-part Truth Hunter. And they've asked me if I can do more and if I can come back to do some other shows. And the problem is what I just said. Basically, I live a very exciting and demanding life, and it's 18 hours a day, and I'm not kidding about that, and I'm not complaining. But when you have to go on a trip for 4 or 5 days to Colorado, it takes all of the work to produce those scripts before I leave, and then I'm gone for a week. And when you come back, then you have more follow up. And it's just one of those chunks of doing production that I wish that I could split into two. Maybe there's going to be a way in 2018 to do more. But right now, I'm trying to concentrate on getting the Earth Files YouTube channel going, keeping up with earthfiles.com, doing the weekly Phenomenon radio show on KGRA, doing 3 hours every month for Coast to Coast AM. And then there are a lot of other radio programs where I do individual interviews, and you add it all up in a month's time. And it's always the issue, where is the time to do additional production? And then start adding, in February, conferences start through the spring and the summer. And I'll be at Conscious Life Expo, and I'm working on new keynotes that I think are going to be fascinating. They're fascinating right now for me to produce. But then when you go into the conference season, that's time away. And all of this comes back to the thing I love the most, is trying to investigate the problems, the phenomena, the breakthroughs around us, and that I live in what seems like an increasingly rapid river of everything coming every day. And I would like to stay up with that. So we'll see how much can we get sort of solid, and I feel like I'm on solid ground, and then doing the YouTube channel and all this other work, then maybe I can work out something and go to Colorado and do more productions for Gaia. I would like to do that, and hopefully that will work out. But for those of you listening, pray for me that I can keep up the pace of the 18 hours just to do what I do right here in my office complex. Now, Hornby Island. I have to do a lot of research into that. I've heard of it. I'm vaguely aware. But that came up last night for the first time, and that is one subject of that I'm not really up to speed on, but I will try to get up to speed on. And Lori, what was the third? Yes, the Mandela effect is quite interesting. The best example that I have seen is where the idea is time is flowing like on a stream. And in one of, I think it was a Star Trek, one of the characters, a pilot in the Starcraft, sees a cat go by his doorway, and he notices the cat. And then, about 2 minutes later, the cat comes by again with exactly the same tail lift, the same curve, the same look. And that is where people say in life, when you feel like you're seeing something again that's exactly identical to something that you have seen, what happened in the timeline? Are those points that would prove that we're in a computer universe and that somebody has the ability to literally edit timelines, and that something where you see something repeated is a cue that something has sort of edited a timeline? That's as best as I can explain the Mandela effect. And it, I guess, is becoming more relevant as a subject because increasingly physicists are debating in panels, are writing papers. Can we prove if we are living in a computer simulated universe? Can we prove it? What would it take? And there are people who are doing papers right now. I know some right at University of Southern California working with a physicist, and they're going to try to release a paper this year, and it will be exactly that. How can physics raise the questions that, if we could get answers, would prove we're in a computer simulated universe? And one thing tonight, because this is sort of a rehearsal, but is important for people to remember. If we are in a three-dimensional holographic universe, the projector of the hologram cannot be in this universe. If we proved that this is a holographic universe, then indirectly we are proving there is a projector in another dimension. So the work that is being done, increasingly moving in the direction of physicists saying there seems to be a lot of suggestion that we're in a holographic universe, that would, by definition, be a proof that it was possible for another dimension to project this universe. And then the question would be, to what end and why? And that is where physicist Tom Campbell, that I have interviewed on Earth Files and in Phenomena Radio, he has written papers and a big thick book, and his bottom line is he thinks this is a simulated universe and that there's a reason why. He says because this is an entropy reduction trainer for souls. And when you start thinking about life and Mandela effects and holographic concepts to a universe, then the idea that all life and all consciousness in this particular universe anyway is here for a very specific reason: to grow and evolve souls. All right. Antarctica is a real mystery. I did one of my half hours on Coast to Coast, and it's at Earth Files right now. You can hear the entire interview in the MP3 audio that I embed in each of my reports when I work for Coast. And it was about the discovery with ice penetrating radar by a team out of Edinburgh, Scotland, and that they have now confirmed 138 volcanoes on the Antarctica ridge between the East Antarctica that is on land, West Antarctica, which is ice floating on the ocean. In between, it is like a big rib, and that's where the 138 volcanoes are. And they do not know if one or more are active and could explain some of the huge melt that is coming off of a place called Thwaite Glacier. They're going to be studying that now in the next several months. If there were one or two or more glaciers that are under as much as a mile of ice, and some of those volcanoes rise up to 10,000 feet under the ice, if any of them are hot or became hot or even became volcanic and started melting that ice, the runoff into the ocean is going to accelerate sea level rise, and that's what everybody's concerned about.